Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great at home this week. We sure miss you at school, and we can't wait till you come back here with us. So, today we're going to be creating an art activity based off of the book Lines That Wiggle, and I can't wait for us to get started. This book just shows you different types of lines and the way that they can show movement through your artwork. After you finish reading the story, I hope that you're able to look at the little chart that I enclosed on our webpage that shows the different types of lines. And then after that, you may get started on your art project with me. So let's get started. Okay, guys. So we're going to get started on our Lines That Wiggle art activity today. And you guys are going to need a set of watercolors, a brush, and some water. I need to get clean water, obviously, and some scissors, and a little bit of glue. Glue stick will work just fine. And you will also want another piece of construction paper, probably black or another solid color besides white. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to do today, guys, is you're actually going to paint a curved line with white space in between it. And you are going to go in different colors. You're going to use different colors. So let me go ahead and get started on that for you guys. You're going to want to make sure you add water to your paint to make it work, and you're petting it like you pet a cat's back with your brush. You're never digging your brush down into the paint because that ruins the paint. Watercolor is called watercolor because you're adding water to it and just a little bit of color. So a little bit goes a long way. So I finished picking up the paint on my brush, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint in a curved direction here in this corner. And then I'm going to stop and I'm going to switch to a new color. You do not have to use the same colors that I'm using. You do not have to use the same colors that I'm using. Let's see here. And I'm going to paint a pattern. And if you notice, I have white space in between my picture, in between my colors. Your lines don't have to be super thick, but you want them thick enough where you can see them. Okay, I'm going to use my red again now. And I'm going to curve that line just a little bit. So the first two lines, I've copied them. Next line, I'm going to curve it just a little. And I'm going to continue doing this until I am finished with this picture. I'm following my curves all the way down my page. So I'm going to copy this one, making sure that I have white in between my colors. What happens if you accidentally get your color on top of the other one or too close to it? Nothing, it's not a huge deal. It just turns out more understandable, the picture in the end, if you leave the white in between, okay? But the great thing about art is there are no mistakes in art. You can always fix things in art if you don't like them, always. You can either draw something on top of something else, or you can paint over something, or you can erase it, but there's always a way to fix things, always. So I'm going to copy this line again. Add a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and finish this page out. I'm copying the same direction of every line. They're all going the same direction. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that. Okay, as you can see, I have finished painting my picture. It's dry now. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into strips diagonally, okay? So I'm going to cut starting at the bottom, and I'm going to cut them diagonally. So let me go ahead and do that for you guys. I want to keep them in order. From small to large. And I'm going to do this all the way across my paper, okay? I'm going to keep cutting diagonally all the way across my paper. Go ahead and do that for me too, okay? Okay, guys, so I've cut my pieces up in a diagonal order, and I have them separated, the top half and the bottom half right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys how to glue these on a black piece of construction paper. It's really important that you keep these in order, so I'm going to go ahead and slide my black paper on here, and I'm going to put these back in order as I put them on top of my paper. just so I don't lose the order that they belong in. And if you do get them out of order, all you have to do is just fit them back together to see where they belong, and that's pretty easy too. Takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely doable. Let me go ahead and slide these back on really quick. And once I have them on here, I'll get started and show you guys how to glue these together. Okay, so I have my top half on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my glue, and what I want to do is line these up. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue down, and I'm going to put my first two pieces on. So 1, 2, and when I say line them up, what I want is I want a little bit of space between your pieces, but I want these edges lined up. What's going to happen is they're going to curve out in just a second. So we want to get those pieces lined up, but a little bit of space between them. So I'm going to go ahead and glue just here at the tip of them. And then you can go ahead and glue a little bit underneath so you can get them to lay down flat. But what we're doing is we're slowly getting these together, and when they're lined up correctly, they are going to form a curve right here, and it's going to be a nice clean curved line. So they're not going to look like this where they're mismatched from the edge. They're going to be curved like this, and they're going to keep curving with a little bit of space in between them, as you can see. So go ahead and do that. Leaving my space between them and get them glued on there, lined up. And as you can see, we're keeping with this little section right here. We want it to be curved in a nice clean line, but space between our lines. And what we're doing is we're creating movement through our artwork. So go ahead and finish gluing those, the first half on, the first few pieces on. And when you get about halfway down your page, then you'll want to stop and check out what to do next, because we're not going to glue the whole thing like this, or we will end up going off of our page. So go ahead and finish that part out for me, okay, guys? Okay, guys, so if you look at the top, you can see how I lined these up, and I really almost put them a little bit on top of each other as I glued them on, just a tiny bit, so that they were touching. Now, I have attached this part. I have not attached this part down here. So as I'm curving this way, my line is about to change. Instead of me gluing on this end like this to continue making that curved line, I'm going to switch it, and I'm going to glue it like this on this end. So our line is going to start to curve this way, like a C over here. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to start gluing these on side by side, starting here. And I'm trying to keep them in order. And go ahead and do that really quick. And remember, we just want a little bit of space in between them. And my papers did end up actually going off the page, which is perfectly fine. It's not a big deal. It actually looks more three-dimensional like that anyway. But what we're doing is we're creating a new curve by starting here. We're going to curve here and go around this direction. As you guys can see. Just going to finish my lines here. And as you can see, now I'm starting to make a little bit of a curve. And there we go. I'm getting close to being finished. I only have a couple more pieces to go. Still keeping my things in order. Again, we're looking to show lines of movement, and when I finish with this, to me it does look like the whole thing is moving. Oh, put that little piece off there. Let's fix that really quick. There we go. Might need a little bit more glue for that part. Yep, that fixed it. And a little bit more glue for this part. I have 2 pieces left after this, and we're finished. And don't worry, the glue will dry. I know you can see a lot of glue over here on this side. Looks a little messy, but once you get finished, you won't see it. It'll be dry. Won't matter. All right, this is my last piece, guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed working on this project. I think it's a super cool picture. It shows lines of movement in our artwork, and you can also see these moving lines in the middle that are white, that we left white, which is why we left that white space in there, was so that we could show lines that are moving horizontally and lines that are moving in our picture as it flows upward and downward. All right, guys, I can't wait to see your pictures when you finish them, so send them in to me. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.